Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Solana. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We do have a higher time frame video up above, so check that out if that's more what you're interested in. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to talk about two ways that I'm currently counting this within the higher time frame video. We do have some other alternatives, but these are the two most probable that I'm currently following at the moment. So we are looking at the potential that what we actually have here is a bigger A, a B, and a C to the upside, in which case what we're looking for is the potential to move up towards this 1-to-1 level. We do have this 786 here and this 0.618 also sitting in this region. Now this could turn into a bullish move if we do move up past this $91. Obviously there is a lot that needs to happen before we get there, so we're going to be looking at the subwaves in order to kind of identify that. Now the alternative is that we could actually still be looking at a corrective move here where we actually have this as a B wave, and then we're looking for this possibility of this C wave to the downside, looking for this Y wave as a potential target on this 1-to-1 here of this 0478 region. Okay, so before we actually come in and focus on this move to the upside here, the way that I'm looking at this move currently is that we could actually have this as either a bigger corrective pattern where this is a this is a B, and then we're looking for the C wave to the downside, in which case what we'd be looking for potentially would be this 1-to-1 area here at this 1121. So within this count, what we are looking for is this is an A wave, looking at this as a B wave to the upside here, and we're right within that typical rejection area. We've come up to this 0.786 area already at this 2234, and what we could actually see here is that this move could potentially be looking to complete in an W, an X, and a Y wave to the upside. So we have hit the 1-to-1 of this as a Y wave. Now the internals of this move would potentially be indicating we could see a little bit more upside here. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I am looking for the potential that we could still see a push up towards this 2363 level to this 2335 region. But we're going to have to see certain structure hold here if we are looking at this C wave still being in place. So if we are looking at that idea of that C wave, what we would be looking for is effectively a move like this. So the way that we would have to count this, now we have to be careful that because within this we could actually have extension playing out. We have 1 2 1 2 here, and then we could actually still get additional waves. But the way I'm currently looking at this is that this is 1, this is 2, so this would be a WXY in here, and effectively what we are looking for is the fact that we have a third wave to the upside, looking for a fourth and a fifth. So I will continue to be looking for this fifth wave to the upside, provided we hold this 2167 to this 20 cent 81. Invalidation comes by crossing this point here of this 2031. So if we do see price actually move upward here one more time in this fifth wave, our target area would be this 2328 to this 2277. Now what I would want to see here is a relatively simple corrective structure, something like a zigzag. Common target area for zigzags is 50%, which would be this $20.81. Now if we do see this actually play out only into this 382, this would be here at this 2119 level, and could be quite an interesting zone to keep an eye on. We do have potential that we could find support higher up here, but typically speaking, if we are going to get a zigzag, it's going to be a bit of a deeper corrective move. Now we also need to be careful until we actually take this low point here of this 2132. We could potentially be looking to extend out here. We're going to talk about that within the bullish count, but effectively what this would be looking to do is complete this corrective move to the upside. So if we are looking at that corrective move, that 1-to-1 is sitting here at this 2363 level, and if I turn on the internals of this, potentially 2328 to 2277 could be a potential target. Now we did come up into this target box area that we were talking about previously, and what we actually had within this zone was some daily naked points of control, and we were talking about the potential of actually swing failing this high. So we have had a reaction off of this. Doesn't mean that it's going to just break down from this point, but we do still have a daily naked point of control up here, and then in this higher target box area towards the bottom end, we do have the potential to swing fail again, and we have some weekly, monthly, and daily naked points of control sitting just up here towards us between this 2333 and this 2329 level. So going to be keeping an eye on that if we do see price look to continue to push up here, and we do find support here for this fourth. Potentially we could see a little bit of an extension here within this fifth wave, which could look to push us up into that zone, which would still align with that idea of that corrective move to the upside. So the key thing here really is because there's so many ways we can count this move up currently, we need to just be very careful because this could be 1, 2 here. We could argue this is another 1, 2 here. Then we get 3, 4, 5. Then we get an additional fourth, which holds this previous fourth wave area, and then a continuation up. The problem is if we start doing that, then it starts being more likely that we have a bullish count in play here. So now the bullish count would actually be looking for a low point of this B wave to be over here. And what we are looking for is the idea of actually seeing an impulse to the upside. Now this was looking at this move as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and an additional 1, 2 over here. So the key thing here though is what we're looking for is a typical third wave would actually be this 1618 level here, which would be this 2673. Now if we are looking at this in this way, what we really need to see here for this to actually be 1, 2 is a move up towards this 1618 here already, which is not very far from where we are. So if we do actually see this play out as 1, 2, and then we get this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially we could just see something like this, where we've actually had an extension in the wave 1, and we just don't reach this higher 1618 target. So the key thing here is going to be structure. If we do see this as 1, 2, we get this third wave complete, we get an additional fourth and a fifth, and we cross this 2251, I would be on the lookout for that potential of an additional fourth and a fifth, and then possibly that additional fourth and a fifth in this way. So that would be looking to push up in this impulsive structure. Now, it is also possible that somewhere within this count here, we could be getting some extension. It's possible that we could get this as 1, 2, then potentially we even get this as another 1. We get a 3-wave move to the downside, failing to actually break down below this low. And then we could actually see direct push to the upside where we had 1, 2, 1, 2 here. And then that would be looking for this higher 1618 target of this 2673. So really here, for as long as we continue to set higher lows, there is potential that this could actually turn into a much bigger impulsive structure to the upside. Now, as we were talking about earlier, we're looking for this internal area where this is 1, 2, looking for this as a potential third wave here. And then we're looking for this fourth wave to hold. Now, within this count here, we could also be arguing that potentially we could have a 1, 2 here with a very shallow wave 2. Now, this would only be valid for as long as we hold this 2132. We have come back down into this typical retracement area. Invalidation, like I said, would be coming below this 2133. But for as long as we stay above that, we need to just be cautious that this move isn't starting to extend out, where this becomes another 1, 2 here. We get 3, 4, and 5, and that target would actually look to push us up towards this 2404 to this 2375. Now, I am leaning a little bit more towards that idea that we could be completed, or alternatively, we have that fourth and that fifth, in which case we could look for one more push to the upside here. But we'll have to see exactly how this plays out here, because really, until we actually start breaking some of this previous structure, because even within this count that we have here, we're looking at this as 1, 2, and then this is a third. If we see a deeper retracement here that fails to take these lows and potentially looks to hold the support range here, which would be this $20.80 to this 1988 level, potentially what we could still see is the possibility that this is 1, 2, we get another 1, 2 here, and then we see extension up. So this is why I'm saying, as long as we hold these previous waves here, potentially we could actually see price continue to push to the upside in an impulsive structure. But we do need to be careful here. Like this extension, the invalidation is here. The next kind of extension would be at this 2926 would be the invalidation of that, and then we would be looking for these lower targets. Now we could potentially argue we have something like this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a diagonal pattern, but I don't really like the structure. The only way that I would confirm that is by breaking down below this low point here again, which would be this 1842. So need to keep an eye on it. There is still potential for upside here for as long as we hold those bullish support zones. Now looking at the daily CPR, what we can see is that we've actually already moved up into this S1 line here. What I want to see is if we do look for that fourth wave potentially to the downside here, what we could see is we could look to actually find support on one of these areas here, where we would be looking at the 382 as the top end of this line, which would be this 2118. So if we see A, B, C, potentially this would align with that idea of coming back into these central lines here. If we do start to lose these central lines, what we could actually see is price could come back down lower here towards this 1992. Now this would align more with that idea that we could be getting extension, though invalidation would be below that low point. And then if we do actually start to see a bigger break to the downside, potentially this 1833 and this 1735 area could be potential targets. Now, for as long as we are above these central CPR lines, what we could actually see is price could actually be gravitated to the upside. We have this 2338 as a potential target, 2499, and this higher level here of this 2594 zone. So these are both within our target boxes. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. If we do see price continue on up here, these could be potential pivot points throughout the rest of today. So now if we actually flip this over onto the weekly pivots, what we can see here is that we are in between the S1 and the S2 line here. If we do see price come back down here, potentially we could look to find support on this S1 line, which is sitting at this 2110 level. So I'd be keeping an eye on that. Potentially we could look to actually retest this level if we're going to have a fourth wave to the upside, fourth wave down and a fifth wave up. This would then align with this idea of having this continuation up here. So our target up here would also align with coming into this target box, this 2275. Now, our higher target for this week is actually this 2548. Now, we don't have to reach these targets, but there is the potential that we could pivot off these levels. So what we are looking at now is that if we actually see this, hold this zone, still looking for that fifth wave. If we start to lose this, what I would be looking at is at the potential of coming back and retesting these central CPR lines, which are sitting between this 1890 and this 1785 level, which could align with coming back down here if we are going to see some continuation up. Alternatively, if we lose those, we do have this 1672, this 1393, and this level here of this 1236 as possible targets for the rest of this week. We will get new lines as of Monday, so we need to just obviously bear that in mind. Now, looking at the monthly CPR, what we can see is that we have actually come back onto these. We've found support here, and we are looking for that potential of coming back up here into this S1 line. Now, if we are looking for an interaction with this, this would align very much so with our idea of having a 5-wave move here, which would be looking at this 2316 as that S1. If we are looking for further extension here, we do have this 2751 and this higher target here of this 3266. Now that would align with the bigger picture here that if we are looking at this move, possibly what we could actually be seeing here is a bigger ABC to the upside here, where we potentially look to target out some of these levels. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that if we do see price continue to show strength here and see this rally continue on during this month. Now, if we do start to break to the downside, where this is just that corrective move up, we look to turn around. Central lines sitting between this 1841 and this 1755 potentially could offer us support again. Alternatively, if we start to lose these, we have downside targets of this 1369, this 852, and then much lower down here, this $4.20. Now, we don't have to reach these lower targets. It is just possible that we could see price be gravitated towards these areas if we start to lose these central lines. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. See you in the next one. Take care.